and welcome, Overwatch fans. We are here and we are live. Little EGF, that's Electronic Gaming Federation, coming at you. This is a little Overwatch as well. I'm here with Sir Waltham. Sir Waltham, how are we doing?
So far, we're doing very good. As the folks at home can see just down below us, an exciting matchup to start today. St. Peter's versus Quinnipiac. And Tug, while these might not be the most high-scoring teams on our list, I'm going to tell you why they're still looking for an exciting matchup. Both of these teams have a very unique scoreline. Both are standing at 2-0. Both are sitting at 6 map wins. That means both had a bye week, and outside of that bye week, both won their matchups 3-0. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one of these teams breaks first.
Yeah, so early EGFCs and bye week teams here. They're both coming into week number 4, which means they're 2-0, having not played that third game or the fourth game yet. Let's take a look at where this Overwatch action will be happening at. We got Busan up first, little icon walled action after that. Hanamura to round this one out and force in the 2CP, no matter how much you might dislike that. Junkertown on map number 4, and Oasis. If we get all the way down to our Oasis, and there is a tie, we will be playing a single map on Ilios. Is that correct, Sir Waltham?
Looking at the score or the maps lineups that we have, that is correct. Ilios, which oftentimes so hard to prepare for, but you don't really need to worry about preparing for it before you barrel through those first 5 maps. Busan, Eichenwald, and Hanamura, the 3 I would like to focus on most immediately, because typically those are the maps we get to see the most often, the first 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll be looking at little 2CP action no more in Overwatch 2. Obviously, the new push coming into there. But yeah, so today as well, schedule-wise, let's take a look at this one. St. Peter's University, Quinnipiac up first. Little MAC matchup here. Siena College taking on Niagara. After that, another MAC matchup. William & Mary taking on the University of Cincinnati. That's what we'll be covering. And you are going to be on maps after that as well, correct?
Yes, I will be here for the 3 maps. Following is going to be St. John's versus DePaul, followed by RIT and Colorado, a heavy-hitting match, I'm sure. And then finally, University of Connecticut versus University of Hawaii to round everything out. And throughout the entire day, Tug, all I'm hoping for is that we see more non-3-0s than we see 3-0s.
That's definitely agreed over here. Mecha Base up first. Quinnipiac on the right in the red. St. Peter's University. That's the Peacocks, correct?
I'm actually not too familiar with the teams and their mascots. Though it looks like it may be. Yeah, it looks like the logo is of peacock form.
A peacock form.
Yeah.
It's looking quite peacockish. Now I'm pretty sure. I know they're out of Jersey. Yes, the Peacocks, blue and white. That's the Peacocks coming in there from the MAAC. Now Quinnipiac. Man, let's see if I can try and remember this without looking it up. It's something. It's got like that hard QC sound in the beginning, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cheat for the team of Quinnipiac. I can't imagine this is something they approve of, cheating overall, being a legit organization. But oh well, I already graduated college. So. Quinnipiac Bobcats. Yes, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry for cheating, but I could not. There's a whole lot of teams here representing the EGF. You know, I started several seasons ago. Not that many teams then. Really on their way up, EGF. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to our production Aeon as well.
Yeah, of course. None of this could happen without them, and none of this action could happen without the doors opening up, which we're about to see here in a few seconds, 30 to be exact. For the lineups, it's looking like it's going to be Ryan Zarya as we lean in towards this mecha base. Very excited. The DPS lineups are going to be changing just a bit, with Cassidy going to be on both sides. But the Hanzo Torb difference, Ratchet and Mayonnaise. No, Ratchet looking like they might opt into something a little bit off with that Doomfist, that high impact starting damage.
Yeah, so we can't move forward without kind of ranking the foods variously of Quinnipiac, right? Grub, mayonnaise, Milky Way, broccoli, cookie, all coming out. Firewolf, the only one not following up with that. Maybe we'll get that in a little bit later. If I can tell you, I think Cookie's going to take the top of my list. We're going to be looking at across the middle right here. Nice fire strike initially. Ratchet actually taking a lot of damage, and then using that get out mechanic very early right there. Smart moves. Nobody wants to be the first pick right here. Ricardo getting punished for their aggression and early stun and more. Ratchet and Ricardo can't get anything going on the side of St. Peter's University. Swing away. That sellout squad fighting a lot initially, but Broccoli finally taking them out. St. Peter's University fighting this one 3-4 for right now.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Quinnipiac still going to be looking to fight this up on high rather than divert their attention towards the point. You could make this fight go a little bit longer, stagger out those kills a little bit more, and get that point unlocked a bit sooner if you're able to do that. But no, they're just going to decide to win the fight, make sure everything's nice and secured. As we see St. Peter starting to wrap around, maybe taking an outside trip.
I'm not against kind of approaching this in a different way. I am against Nachos coming in solo at the back and mortality field invested. We're going to be looking at Nachos very, very glad and not be taking this one out. There's a grab across the middle. No shield tank as well. And that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage for St. Peter's University. Full team kill and the most effective team fight so far.
Yeah, you criticize Nachos on going on that solo Zarya flank, and normally I would agree with you, Tug, but Nachos able to wear down Grub just enough to force out that immortality field from Broccoli, as well as keep Firewolf pushed too far ahead. From there, it all crumbles.
Yeah, so here's the high noon. Not going to be 12 o'clock. Oh, it is! Mayonnaise! Told what time it is right here. Ricardo falling right there. Or excuse me, Ricardo finding one against Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is soured. I don't know. Satellite Squad up here in the front. Amplification Matrix finds a little bit of value towards the beginning, but Hunter not going to be finding any core beyond that. Ricardo almost getting punished for his aggression again. Combat roll not going to be too much. Shattered down and just like a little bit late. Salad Squad responding on that one. Did get the mortality field up, so no value. Here comes the grab as well. Dragons just a little bit too late, Sir Waltham.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it there. The Dragons just were not in sync enough, and now Nachos has had enough time to build up another grab.
Ooh, stun coming in. No charge for you guys. Rise of Fire Strike and more. Nachos doing their best to try and protect that Reinhardt, but as soon as that main shield does fall, Quinnipiac comes flowing in like an avalanche.
St. Peter's certainly trying to get something nestled onto point, but certainly looking skint for manpower here. Ricardo just not able to connect. Firewolf swinging big.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised it even took Quinnipiac that long. That's just simply what's going to happen when you drop a main tank.
It really is, but now, speaking of those main tanks, Firewolf going to be leaning in here. Just trying to get some early damage build up to another shatter that they're quite close to. A couple swings will get them.
Yeah, what, both teams, both support ultimates, Ratchet falling in this, no mercy press and no res for that. St. Peter's drops their main tank as well, and that's kind of like just like bad luck almost for Broccoli, right? The amplification matrix coming out at the very end as like 3 players were falling.
Yeah, it was a little rough. Firewolf going to be committing that Earth Shatter. Very fortunate to not have Salad Squad block it this time around, but as we look towards the ultimates that are going to be available for next fight, you're going to have to keep an eye out for Minmin's Sound Barrier. Going to be able to sustain St. Peter's enough to perhaps wear down the fight, but they might want to keep it in pocket for Milky Way's grab. With one going down, though, may not need to as severely.
So now, I'm taking out a big pick that's off tank, and then, oh no! The grab and Dragons, even though nobody was really caught up in that grab right there. Quinnipiac still coming out on top. That might have just purchased themselves the space that they needed right here. Swings back towards the middle. Huge choke point right here. Sound barrier invested. Ricardo falling right before it, though. Now trying to rotate onto point. 95, 96 up top. Got a touch eventually. Another Zarya fell in the beginning of this team fight right here. Rotating up back into it. Swinging between Firewolf and Salad Squad. Everybody focusing attention right there. And Mayonnaise finds in the shatter. Afterwards, Ricardo on the back is clearing point right here. St. Peter's University with a lease on life right here. So welcome.
That is so brutal. Broccoli invests that amplification matrix. Looks like Firewolf might be able to make something happen, but between the high noon coming out from Ricardo, Ratchet having that high ground and just the tank pressure on point, St. Peter's just going to be too overwhelming. Quinnipiac now has to hustle back, looking like one fight territory for both these squads.
He is on board with Ratchet. Has that attack visor as well. Was that a grab out from Milky? No, I might have missed that one. Ratchet trying to get damage in from the side right here, just kind of doing battle with Grub back and forth. This is at the advantage of St. Peter's. Now there's the attack visor as a Quinnipiac squad comes and split at this one. Main tank in the front. Mayonnaise hits a dinger right there. Still fighting this one 4-5 though. Is Quinnipiac dropping their main tank as well. Mayonnaise in the back trying to get damage in edgewise, and now just getting absolutely bamboozled and bopped on the head by this Lucia. That's St. Peter's University. Peacocks spreading or fanning that tail feathers? I'm sure there's a better name for that.
Yeah, it works, but really one of the dominant players here so far was looking to be Ricardo, who might be coming back to point rather quickly with those legs from Soldier. But again, that high ground that the soldier could have, so dominant, especially when you activate that tack visor. If not every single person is behind Firewolf's shield, they're going to get torn to bits, as proved by the receipt of the kill feed coming through there in that last fight. St. Peter's now up 1 as we head towards that downtown.
Yeah, it was just so always indicative, right? Like the first Feld was always the Reinhardt. Afterwards, if teams stayed there, pretty much always taken out shortly thereafter. That's just the way it goes. No changes looking necessary. Oh, there you go. Now Milky Way on over to the Diva. I'm not against this. A much more mobile comp.
I like this as well. I also like Mayonnaise on that Widowmaker. Ratchet on this far are going to have a severely difficult time if Mayonnaise just stays tuned in. We'll have Min Min to keep them up. Ratchet, Min Min, a combination we've seen many times before taking to the skies, but Ratchet sees that Widowmaker, immediately diverts attention and tries to avoid shots.
Mayonnaise is actually getting a lot of attention early. I like how Ratchet is sitting down as well. They know this Widowmaker is up, and even with heals, there's nothing you can do against a charge-up headshot, and Mayonnaise can definitely get this done. We saw that last week as well. Looking in for damage and cursing this hard cover. Looking right, looking left. Everybody just kind of staying away from this one, just like that. Ricardo Feld, Firewolf, that's the big pick right here. Immortality Field is invested on both sides. I love how Grub is just literally standing above. Doesn't have to be a Tracer dashing all the way around to get effectiveness on this one. Cookie Feld as well. There's the headshot that Mayonnaise was looking for. Turns attention on over to this Tracer. Would have loved to have taken that because Grub went forth. Or excuse me, Ricardo went forth and is now providing a lot of benefit for the squad. So, oh no! Oh no! The classic Reinhardt shield stick. So did take out the Reinhardt there. And is that a shatter as well?
Yes.
Oh my, Firewolf. Not optimal times for that one.
Yeah, and Quinnipiac looked like they had this fight under wraps. Mayonnaise able to get a couple kills, force that Mercy into a rough position, and at least to stop healing the rest of their team. But St. Peter's was just able to hold on long enough, especially with Firewolf missing that Earth Shatter. Not missing it, rather, but the Zarya self-bubbled if the Tracer had rewind up or was just out of range, but they're going to have to take another crack at this.
Really will. There's Mayonnaise again! Ratchet just snuffed out of this one early. Firewolf Feld as well. I feel like this is a little deja vu here, Sir Waltham. That's exactly how it went earlier. Now Milky Way getting tossed out of mech and deleted is not the same way. That's almost the perfect, kind of like, what's the Space Jam, of course, is the Zarya ult and the Doom Fist ultimate. Throw a Tracer bomb, it'll get pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger bomb is the Diva and Grav. I like the mini bomb.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Some along those lines. But either way, now we're seeing Quinnipiac change, or excuse me, St. Peter's change styles. Ratchet going to be hopping onto the Widowmaker of their own, perhaps trying to go eye for eye towards Mayonnaise. We'll see if either one provides their team more advantageous cover and lines of sight. But Salad Squad going down early.
Reinhardt's just dropping here left and right, going out of style, it seems like. Sellout Squad, a lot of effect towards the middle, just like that. Sellout Squad forced out, even though St. Peter's University is finding picks left, right, and center. Quinnipiac has taken point for right now, but that is not long for this world. St. Peter's University taking this one back over at 11. This is pretty much just avoiding a goose egg situation for Quinnipiac. They can technically get back in. Well, I mean, Cookie is really the only one who can get back into this one quickly. 9900, no one touches. Map 2 looking a lot more one-sided than map numero uno. That was 112, right? 112, excuse me.
Yes, I mean, St. Peter's just really looked like they suffered, or excuse me, Quinnipiac really looked like they suffered at that long range, even when we saw St. Peter's playing a Pharah, which might not be optimal to play into a Widowmaker, which isn't optimal, let's just call it as it is. They're still able to take advantage of those long lines of sights, the high impact damage that the Pharah can provide, and they're able to operate as a team a little bit stronger. If you're able to use that cover from the Widow, then 6 members of your team can hit the remaining 5 of the other team right in the face, square in the nose, and they're going to bleed a little bit heavier than your team is going to suffer for their punches. Overall, some good response from St. Peter's. Seeing them switch on to the Widowmaker, I'm not sure if we saw that play out for the same amount of time, it would be the same, but they're going to be happy with the 1-0 scoreline either way.
Yeah, Mayonnaise coming in. It's like Mayonnaise can hit the shots, but at the end of the day, I mean, I say this so often, right? With the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, right? The best block is simply don't be there. Now, obviously, the second best here in Overwatch is having a shield in front of you, but simply that's what we saw. What we spectated Mayonnaise there on the very initial attack, right? For 15 seconds or so, and they just simply stayed behind the center cover, right? Like we saw a Tracer dip off to the left, then utilize 2 quick boosts to just get out. That's a skill test in of itself as a Widowmaker trying to hit that. And outside of that, there's just simply no opportunities. Now once this Pharaoh started flying on the other side, different story. Mayonnaise was able to snuff out a couple of headshots, but simply it was a good job of just staying away from the source of danger, really. As it is, we covered this, we wouldn't say like really what is worth, right? 2-0 St. Peter's, 6-0 haven't dropped a map yet. Coming into this, Quinnipiac 2-0 haven't dropped a map yet. That is their first map across these 4 weeks now of the EGF Overwatch segment for Quinnipiac dropping their first map. So history being made here, Sir Waltham.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we talked about both these teams having a bye week. Quinnipiac actually had their bye week in week 3, so last week, meaning that, maybe they're just waking up, trying to knock some of the sleep dust out of their eyes. But either way, it's not a habit they can allow themselves to form for the rest of this matchup. They can't just continue being complacent towards St. Peter's, but we will take a brief moment here, Tug, stop analyzing the teams and start analyzing what maps are going to be coming up next.
Absolutely. Eichenwald next. I'm going to be looking at, honestly, this is the same situation we could kind of see on Busan. I could really see the Widowmaker on one side and the Fair on the other side coming out and having a huge effect on this outcome of map number 2 here, Sir Waltham.
Yeah, I definitely tend to agree, particularly with your point about the Pharah on that first point. I think if we see a really successful first point, that might dovetail towards a streets phase with the Pharah continuing, but typically we don't see it played around that third point. Either way, a Widowmaker, a decent option to really deal with that. If not that, then maybe something like an Ana that can still give you that long range option. Cassidy, not too reliable given the slower rate of fire, the less impact damage you can get immediately, as well as the fact that you can't really use your utility up there against the Pharah in the sky. So overall, definitely expect to see if we see Ratchet return on that Pharah or not, but time will tell once these compositions start to get rolling.
A new name, but combat role is still this exact same. All ability is held all the same all the way through here, and splash damage from a Pharah can frequently hit even a Cole Cassidy, that has combat rolled away and still get that damage off there on the end. So I'd have to, and again, at a certain point, is just stay farther away from that fallout damage. I can definitely, and again, because even hitting headshots, right, even if you have a Mercy on the other side, charging up the Cowboy, a single headshot is simply not going to be enough. Gonna have to see a lot more there if the Pharah is utilized. Of course, we're not to that quite yet, and yeah, we'll be looking at the Peacocks taking on this squad here next. Just as a recap, that was 199 on map number 1 for Busan. That was Mecha Base. And then 112 on map number 2 there. So, yeah, Quinnipiac coming out strong. Maybe I haven't played competitively with an EGF in 2 weeks now, but I don't really think that that's having such an effect here. It's not something that you can really, like, rely on a team, collegiate side, these higher levels coming in, like, completely dry, like, completely having not played. I guaranteed they have.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. And more so, part of it might just come from not playing enemies of this caliber, right? You can have scrims internally within, your college. You can have your B team go up against your A team. If that's the case for Quinnipiac, I don't want to make any assumptions about their esports organization. But at the end of the day, if you're not in here participating in these tournaments, it can have a minor effect. I definitely want to give some credit. I don't think that part of this is because of any ring rust on the players. I mean, we saw the exposure from St. Peter's. Those headshots were definitely getting nailed by Mayonnaise, so definitely an option to come through here again. But now, as we take a tune, Quinnipiac going to be starting off on the defense, St. Peter's to attack. Tug.
Thank you. Now, Sir Walt's been saying that for you people just as much as he's saying it for me, because I would call these two teams backwards this, like, literally entire time. Yes, St. Peter's University, the Peacocks on the right in the red, Quinnipiac left, blue defense. No subs, no changes. Yeah, the composition's different, excuse me, but no subs coming into this one.
Yeah, it's going to be the same members that we've seen so far, but the composition's looking rather wildly different. The Pharah and the Reinhardt from St. Peter's going to be pretty much the only consistent look. Broccoli on that Baptiste as well. We're going to see if St. Peter's can get some early damage here. Once again, that Ashe going to put a lot of damage on. Oh my god!
There it is. There it is. What am I talking about? You know, we talked about the Cole Cassidy, talked about the Widowmaker, throw Mayonnaise back onto this Hanzo! Finding out 1 but 2. Fantastic stuff. Defense holding strong. That is literally how you single-handedly stop a team in its tracks. Ricardo in the back might be playing this Tracer. not really gonna matter, especially when Mayonnaise is super close to the rest of their squad.
And it's in fact going to force a swap out. Ratchet going to be coming in on the Soldier in just a minute. But right now, Ricardo trying to find any weak opportunities they can.
Really investment in the Immortality field from Broccoli. Definitely necessary as it was. Salad Squad swinging away up close and personal. We've seen what Salad Squad can do on this Reinhardt, and Firewolf cannot get away from it. Ricardo back to the middle, hasn't even taken a shot of damage here soon. Nachos showing up as well. Ricardo fighting perfectly on top of this small health pack as well. Knows that, dips off to the next, and now perfectly healed up without using even a second of his healer's attention. Fantastic stuff, about as clinical a first push as you can take.
And you really see the adaptation coming through from St. Peter's there. They immediately lose 2 members to Mayonnaise, almost right out of the gates to Quinnipiac, and then they realize this is a composition that's not going to shine. An early loss onto Ricardo, so they will be stuttering a little bit, but they're not going to be forced into those long-range fights so they can just get close and up in your face.
Yeah. Ricardo definitely going to take that one in consideration in the next. They're really running all the way around and just having their way in the back lines, you know, flanking left, right, and center. Maybe not going to happen. Nachos looking like they're going to get punished as well. Yeah, so Quinnipiac, with the smallest of investment rotation-wise, takes out main tank, or one of the main tanks, I should say, excuse me, Sellout Squad, of St. Peter's University. Ricardo?
Oh.
What, recalled over the pit and dropped down and died, right?
Yeah, I mean, those pulse bombs are on product recall, apparently. We've seen 2 Tracer deaths already into the second map, but Mayonnaise on this dominant high ground.
It's a solid bit of damage off first. Sigma ultimate out from Milky Way right there. And big effect. Salad Squad getting so low once again. Quinnipiac just simply staring down the main tank, focusing damage in, and just like that, offense on the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, the defense just... It's not so much the defense won that. St. Peter's kind of handed over a few too many lives to the defense. They shouldn't have lost their Tracer, and once they did, I don't know if Milky Way sniffing around was still the way to go, or excuse me, Salad Squad was the way to go, but either way, Ratchet tried to get up on this high.
That's fantastic. The res coming in. Cookie's gonna pay for that one with their lives. Aimbot in the back, up and down, Immortality field out, and that's actually gonna punish this offending St. Peter's University squad. Milky Way, one of the last players left on point here, is just 2 tanks and a Dream right here. Shields out, that's gonna purchase themselves a little bit of space, but no. Experimental barrier coming out just a second too late. Milky Way, like looking at, yeah, the 9 health, right? The solo health right there, not able to come all the way back.
Not quite, and once again, just this aggression. Now it's Quinnipiac's turn to lose an early man.
Yeah, so Nacho's getting damage in with the Ricardo right there, but gets robbed on the acknowledgement from Overwatch, from the game. Hate to see it. Back up to the front right here. Salad Squad's probably trying to find a way in edgewise, and they want to just shatter anybody foolish enough to kind of turn this corner in the back right now. This is actually everything they really want. Nobody on point right now, and everybody's just kind of assumed a passive lifestyle.
I don't know.
They have realized that murder, mayhem, death, doom, delirious destruction are not the ways of the game. That is not what they want to go with anymore. They're tired of their murderous ways, and you know, maybe it's just decided, all collectively, all 12, that you know, maybe they're looking at a different lifestyle.
Yeah, maybe we see a change up. Maybe they just decided they didn't want to storm the castle gates of Eichenwald. Apparently, there was an issue with the lobby host pausing the game, so the players just decided to take a peace treaty, a temporary pact.
Sportsmanlike conduct there. We're memeing around right here with them deciding not to play anymore. Yes, it's just a pause. We're in a tactical pause right here. That happens. Coming in though, do me a favor, kind of break down what we're looking at as this offending squad is coming all the way in.
Well, the offending squad was probably looking to just lean in with their superior ult power, but because of the momentary tech issues or perhaps pause issues, whatever, we don't know if anybody dropped. We didn't see that before we switched over. It's now looking like the offense might be on a little bit of the back foot through very little fault of their own. I mean, they were, you know, not necessarily in 100% control of that fight, but you saw that Reinhardt pushed very far forward. You saw him perhaps getting ready for that slam. The Sigma there to back him up as well, and you got to think that slam, if perhaps the team's more coordinated, if they know everybody's there ready to respond, comes out at least once the cart has been contested. Maybe not necessarily once there's everybody in that small hallway, but either way, we are getting word that the pause is going to be resuming, and looks like there's going to be a close end to the fight soon enough.
Yeah, kind of an odd place to come out of an unpause, just staring down the barrel of a Cole Cassidy Peacekeeper. Hate to see it. Back to it. St. Peter's University looking like they're coming on top of this one, but I do believe that's the situation would have seen otherwise as well. 4 downs. That is also a lot of ultimate charge, especially given the fact that St. Peter's used a lot in this previous team fight.
And what did I say, Tugboat? We were going to be seeing the Earthshatter come out not as the hallway was being filled, but as the cart was being touched. An immediate kill onto Nachos using that kinetic grasp. It's going to be a good start.
Yeah, can't grasp a hook. You'll get a hole in your hand. Yeah, got it.
Aw.
3 minutes, 23 seconds left. Sellout Squad almost getting taken out right there again. Milky Way has already shown up in a galactic way on this Roadhog. Shots across the middle. Ratchet doing everything they need to with Sellout Squad right at their side. Now getting hyper aggressive with the utilization of 2, and Milky Way finds another pick across. Not 1 but 2 main tank shields again. Even so, that is the only real pick that Quinnipiac has taken on this one. No res on the other side. St. Peter's University doesn't need it though. A nano boosted hog is a dangerous one indeed. Getting the back end again. He gets the hook, but no shot punch there at the end. Ratchet getting super low on that one. It would have been really nice because they obviously have that attack visor now coming out. Everybody just turtling up. Fantastic stuff again. Very little ability. Cookie goes up. How courageous? Is that the right word here? Courageous?
It was definitely very bold. But either way, the defender's gonna be holding at perhaps the 0 hour for this cart to not make it through. I like this swap from Mayonnaise onto the May, be able to section off perhaps 1 or 2 of those tanks, those DPS even, that might get a bit too aggressive. Even if Milky Way gets a hook, you can combo that nicely with a wall.
No immortality field now. Firewolf getting aggressive. Shatter down, hits multiple members. Grub, Sellout Squad both done. 5v5-4 right now for these 2 squads. Rez coming in as well. Quinnipiac is A-OK. There's the nano. There's an ice wall from his teammate blocking off 2 swings that he could have gone as a nano. Ricardo falling with damage on from Milky Way and their teammate. That's Broccoli right there, and St. Peter's University has stabilized.
Not too much of a pessimistic person, but even if you're Firewolf, you can't look entirely to Mayonnaise for not getting the optimal value. You're still playing kind of a little far back when you had that nano. Maybe you amplify it just a little bit more, get the benefit even harder.
That's an even better ice wall right there, sectioning off the teams, but just like that, the sound barrier drops, and Ratchet is allowed to just go wild right now. Grub keeping the dreams alive, though, even with Mayonnaise and their Blizzard out right now. Everybody coming back to this. Min is there, swarming onto this Mayonnaise player down bottom. Ricardo and team have taken this one out. Quinnipiac gonna be trying to come back at this one. Firewolf is there on the ball, contesting for right now. St. Peter's, go ahead.
Importantly, Firewolf gets nanoed, but really doesn't do a whole lot with it, just uses it for that damage reduction. That's gonna be a little bit costly if they can't get the kills.
Yeah, now no ultimates really, not even halfway there. There's a Gravitic Flux that finds everything that they need. Sellout Squad has this Shatter as well. Mayonnaise would be the last on the chopping block, and Quinnipiac, even though they got team killed and beaten on the last point, this was a dangerous situation coming into like 2.5 minutes, right? Like this could have been the same result, but literally 120 seconds ago.
Yeah, a very risky proposition here, but so far I think what we're seeing from St. Peter's might be the tendency we see throughout this series as we look towards our next couple of maps, where St. Peter's might lose one fight, but then they take the information they've learned from losing that fight, come back, succeed with the tools that they've learned how to manipulate from Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac needs to be very careful about that, or at least start changing up their playstyle. I liked the May swap up, I liked the Roadhog swap up, but you can't let St. Peter's just anticipate the way you're going to play with those characters. You have to keep St. Peter's rocking on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, you do. Just keep them guessing and whatnot. Quinnipiac, so far showing the Bastion, not against that at all. Well, they're on attack. Let's maybe go through St. Peter's. That would make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to be seeing Ratchet on that long-range hit scan. I would say the long-range hit scan, of course, still in spawn, switching over to the Soldier instead. I don't even mind this. I think we saw some good Soldier play coming out previously. I think Ratchet has a huge opportunity here on this first point, especially if they hold on that balcony area, just maintaining that dominant high ground.
I think Mayonnaise Trying to go back to the comfort pick of the Mei. I can agree with the Mei on first point and last point. As his payload's kind of going and just a little bit more mobile. Maybe a different story right there. First Echo pick we really see in this matchup so far as well. St. Peter's University looking to get aggressive. Ratchet, even with the ultimate generation reduction in the beginning, still getting a whole lot, almost already at 40% right here as Quinnipiac rounds and gets through first choke point. Ricardo tossing in damage in edgewise. Firewolf trying to slowly edge their way back up to this one. Now on the back foot is Sellout Squad. A lot of attention onto these main tank shields, and mortality fields come out on both sides. That kept Hunter and Sellout Squad alive for a little while, but not gonna be enough.
And interestingly enough, Quinnipiac has that respawn advantage. They have that locational advantage, but they're still not going to push this too aggressively. It's taking Firewolf a long time to walk up towards point, keeping themselves up with shields primarily.
Yeah, so the shield right there getting deleted down as well very, very quickly. Broccoli having a lot of healing responsibilities on their belt. Now that's Milky Way taken out. Grub on the other side finds one, but between the attack visor and the... Oh my god! Ratchet taken out and just disrespected by Grub. This is a situation that we would not have seen Cole Cassidy been in, you know, what, say 6 months ago before that 225 change? Literally getting down to like 10 health back or something like that.
Dangerously close, and once again Quinnipiac has that early man advantage, but just like that, off the back of this tank battle, seems to have it slip through their fingers.
Sellout Squad definitely showing up as the MVP for St. Peter's University so far. Not taking anything away from Nachos, anybody else on the side of St. Peter's, but Sellout Squad has just had that main tank dominance so far.
Now we get to see if Quinnipiac's going to be changing things up here. We're going to be seeing the ultimate start to come online for him. Earthshatter goes in, manages to get 3.
Oh, and then the counter shatter finds a little bit in the back. It kind of stops this offensive push. Ricardo, smart change onto this, but gets frozen out, dusted, and sent out of this form very, very quickly. Now chasing down, focusing being used exactly how it should be. Low health targets right there. Trying to get out his Milky Way, and Quinnipiac will suffer all but a team kill at the hands of St. Peter's University.
And I start to look towards Quinnipiac, and I lose a little bit of hope for them. I was hoping they would have a similar learning pattern to St. Peter's, where we're just seeing that adaptation come through. Losing 1 or 2 fights, but not quickly recovering. But St. Peter's is just pressing on the gas.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Cassidy is going to be hard for this Cowboy to get around and flank and get off this high noon. I think that's a big reason why we haven't seen a whole lot from the Quinnipiac offenses so far. Just one of their DPS's ultimates just hasn't been able to shine, really. Immortality field out. Ratchet choosing now to go off on this one. Finds 2, but then gets taken out by their counter pick. Mayonnaise once again showing up on this Hiscan Heroes. Nacho's getting hyper aggressive right now, shooting left and right. Oh, but they know there's no healer really on the other side for Firewolf and Milky Way, so there's only so much for them to really get done until Broccoli gets back into this one. Back to choke point.
Yeah, an excellent read coming in from St. Peter's. They're able to tell when the ebbs and flow of this battle are going to be most impactful, and they're going to start off by losing a member to Grub.
Talk about reading a shield health perfectly right here. Losing a DPS as well. This one might really be over before it started. Yeah, just swarming on in right now. Quinnipiac, it should be able to get this with ease.
And I don't want to be too down on St. Peter's. They're still playing an excellent game, but you have to think that a little bit of that is just their arrogance in playing so far up close, not being able to have that retreat capability. And now even if they lose Sellout Squad, that's going to be a little bit more progress that costs them. Already Ricardo going down.
Yeah, Ricardo going in for the heroic play right there. That's what we'll call it. To try and contest out for a few seconds, but Grub really just has the number of everybody and literally just gets the same exact play that we've seen so far so many times from Grub.
And definitely one player I'm looking forward to keeping eyes on as this matchup continues. Gonna be trying to provide a little bit of space with that Diva Bomb, makes things a little bit harder for the remaining members of the team.
Milky Way may not have hit the self-destruct, but comes over. Little payload drop from above, takes out this main tank. A lot of eats quickly. Ricardo has just kind of had a problem staying in this form really up until now. A lot of times Quinnipiac has just answered this very, very quickly. As it is, Grub continuing on their ways right now. Does get taken out in the back. Offense should be rolling here soon.
This really feels like St. Peter's knows how to play that far and away angle, because we've seen Quinnipiac look like they're at man advantage continually, but just not able to ply through it. Finally, Quinnipiac breaks through.
Yeah, Ratchet again, kind of opting for an inopportune time to pull their ultimate. Mayonnaise had a better time to pull their ultimate.
And I just want to talk about how oddly timed I think both of us can acknowledge these fights are being right now, Tug. It feels so either so long for both of these teams, or like these fights aren't really coming to a conclusion and just dovetailing into the next.
Yeah, that talk about a conclusion. Losing due DPS early. Now Quinnipiac on the back foot every way, shape, and form. Ricardo should be able to coordinate with company. Yeah, there you go. Now still pushing, so this is a fantastic job from Quinnipiac, actually. There's still no contest, by the way. They realize that they're down and just utilize the last few like kills here, and at the end of the day, there you go. Milky Way and Broccoli. I was going to say, at the end of the day, you can literally just always jump off and deny any ultimate charge from the other team.
Yeah, an excellent option there. Now Quinnipiac looks like they're very likely within one fight territory, but they've got to fight against St. Peter's best resource, and that's Ratchet on high ground. With this soldier just looking so tough, Firewolf already having their shield worn down quite aggressively.
Yeah, so Firewolf, the rest of Quinnipiac just kind of need to come through. There you go. That's really what they needed. Grub finding another one in early. Cookie dropped. Nacho's coming flying in from this one. Not a whole lot from previous ultimates. That not changing here. Now just getting the Hyper Spheres. Oh my god. Broccoli just trying to get out and away from damage. A tactical crouch coming out from Nachos. He was trying to avoid his headshots.
Yes, very, very essential in this game mode. And now it comes up to Quinnipiac to try to make a touch, perhaps within these last few moments. Firewolf goes into the Earth Shatter self-destruct. Not much to be had. Earth Shatter misses Milky Way.
Some Firewolf and the Diva, yeah, that's not going to be enough. Shout out to Milky Way for realizing this and for being a quite tasty chocolate bar. But at the end of the day, it's going to be St. Peter's University reigning supreme here on Icon Vault. I believe that's a 3-1 scoreline.
Yes, it will be, in fact, Tug. And I believe now that I've collected all the data, I've analyzed all the numbers, I'm ready to place a bet on who wins this one. So far, St. Peter's looking very good. I mean, we're seeing them again be able to play that long game, that game that just Quinnipiac can't quite cope with. I mean, Quinnipiac did great on that first push, but it wasn't enough. 2 kills by Mayonnaise from the Hanzo, basically back-to-back, is not going to be enough to win you these fights consistently enough.
Yeah, I mean, if Mayonnaise was able to go off like that in every single team fight, would have been a different story. But at the end of the day, even if Sellout Squad and any main tank here was getting too aggressive for it, they were still providing value for their squad as it was coming in. Now, when it came down to like super like clutch situations there towards the end, like Sellout Squad and team move across this bottom area just simply faster, and Sellout Squad's shield isn't damaged as it's coming in, because we just saw on high just raining down damage. They're not looking for kills, they're literally just looking to kill that shield, because that is the next step right there. Once that shield is done, we saw what happened on the inside.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as we look towards our next map, we know it's going to be Hanamura, and that tells me that that's a place that Soldier isn't necessarily the most unfriendly on, especially on that second point. There's a lot of high ground, there's a lot of distance that can be held, whether you're a hit scan such as Ashe or Widow, or whether you're something a little bit more mid-range like the Cassidy, like the Soldier 76. I anticipate we'd see the Soldier 76 from St. Peter's. It's just the formula we've been seeing from them so far, but maybe they change it up. Maybe there's some special strategies. And for Quinnipiac, I think you really have to talk about those special strategies. Maybe the Sim May to try to get in close that we've seen, way back in days of old, but now it's kind of fallen out of style a little bit.
Yeah, teleporters with the Sim is obviously, it can be perceived as almost like a little bit wonkier, but the May right there, I feel like either had a really like definitive advantage here, or the May was almost just like a bad focusing of attention. Regardless, let's take it to the maps right here. We're looking at Hanamura up next. Little 2 CP action there. If Quinnipiac takes this, we'll look at Junkertown after that and purchase ourselves a little bit of extra Overwatch. If St. Peter's University, if the Peacocks doth fly on Hanamura, then that'll be it. That'll be a 3-0 roll. Do Peacocks fly? I think we tried to cover this before, I think.
I don't think so. I don't think... I think they're one of the birds that fly...
like across the ground and stuff, but
I mean, so far overall, I mean, Quinnipiac's getting bodied all the way across the map. Their corpses are being scattered to the ashes. So I guess you could say that in this instance, Peacocks unfortunately do fly. But I want to talk about the map lineup that we saw. I'm not going to have our producer bring it back up, but we saw Eichenwald. We saw we are going to see Hanamura, and matchup providing, we will see Junkertown. All of those, from what we've seen, scream St. Peter's advantage with that long range. St. Peter's, I think we might have to see them switch to something a little bit more a longer range than the Soldier, something like the Widow, like the Ashe, like the Hanzo. That first point, often known as a double sniper map or a double sniper section. So I'm definitely thinking that St. Peter's are going to have that very, very tight edge. But again, Quinnipiac really have to try switching up their strategies, and I think just being aggressive as well.
Yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes. Quinnipiac staying on the left side, St. Peter's on the right. I'm not against the double sniper composition on the very beginning right here, right? Hanamura famous for its one choke point on point one. It's one choke point, and the other little window, you obviously have to have some sort of movement ability to make it through here. Now, Sim also reigns supreme here because of that teleporter, whether or not you take it up top to your right as you're coming in as attackers, whether or not you go straight to point. That's kind of the openness that the Sim teleporters kind of allow you.
And we'll see if that option does come through. Even if it does, it's no longer a novel strategy. I would call it a niche strategy, but it's not something that's unheard of, or it's not something that will fool enemy teams. Yep. What it might do, though, is it might allow Quinnipiac to catch St. Peter's off balance, or force St. Peter's to take fights where they may not be so optimal for it. If you can teleport directly onto point, then St. Peter's has to fight you directly on point, or you just start getting progress. However, Tugboat, for those at home who didn't see it, we did have another disconnect, so might be a few moments before we get back into the game.
It was all gravy. After this, whether it's just this map or whether it's the actual match, as is EGF standards, we will have an interview then. Now, at that point, we'll be able to cover our rankings of all the various food names right here. So get ready for that, Sir Waltham. Get it going in the old noggin there. We'll cover that a little while later. At this point, let's go ahead and go and talk about like kind of what these teams have done previously. I'll go over and cover Quinnipiac. If you would like to go through St. Peter's, we'll kind of talk about how these teams did get there. Obviously, we're seeing the present right now. Let's talk about the past, how they got there. Starting off, Quinnipiac, and again, both of these teams 2-0. Quinnipiac coming in a huge matchup in the very beginning in week 1 of the EGF season. That was against Niagara as well. And looking at numbers, yeah, this wasn't even really that close. 0-2 Busan, 3-1 on Iconwald, so they did open up first point, and then 3-0 Junkertown. There just wasn't a whole lot of breathing room there for Niagara in week number 1. St. Peter's?
Yeah, and for St. Peter's, as we look through these, I guess as I look through these map records, again, week 2, they did have that bye week, so we will be seeing them. And the first week go up against Iona College. Again, with that 3-0, no map drops there. So they're going to be looking pretty strong in that capacity. Then as we took a look at our third week, we saw them get that 3-0 once again against Canisius. So right now we might start to see that, these teams, at least from my point of view, St. Peter's has not been chalked against the highest of skilled teams, although they're certainly seeming to hold that mid-table very well.
I'm with that. Shout out to Iona College, one of the newer entries here with the EGF. Love to see it.
Mm-hmm. And now, as we do get the option here to look at these teams, we are going to be seeing that Quinnipiac having a little bit of technical difficulty, going to be subbing out. I believe it was Firewolf for Scooty at 935. So fortunately, we didn't lose any of that food naming synergy here, Tuck.
Absolutely. Firewolf is not a dish that I've ever had there, so welcome.
I think the real tragedy here is that the main tank for St. Peter's is named after a food, and Quinnipiac's main tank is not.
That was not lost on me. People, nachos will 100% be part of the ranking of foods here a little bit later. I'll let you guess where that is going to land on mine. As it is, doesn't this kind of look like the Little Shop of Horrors? Like the skin? What was it? What was the name of the monster? Never mind, getting back to it. Nachos rolling all the way in there, and that's going to be Ratchet providing damage. Now, we saw Ratchet earlier on this, providing damage from above. Grub turning attention, headshot, and more, and that's going to be charged up as well. No real res capabilities while everybody is down bottom paying attention to this one. And just like that, offense really respecting the defense, we'll call.
Yeah, and I think Quinnipiac's in a very good spot to be able to start on defense here first. I think that Soldier might struggle to get a little bit of initial value on this entry, but if they're given space, they'll certainly be able to find something.
Bad play. Okay, I was going to say, yeah, bad place to be there. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Milky Way just, This is best statue impression and falls off the side. Nacho's back on over to Scooty. That's gonna be just kind of some irritating damage in from the side. Ricardo already with that ultimate though, and now just dusting in the back right here. First little bit of damage on the Grub. Finishes out some more, and that's Quinnipiac failed on first point. St. Peter's takes us with one ultimate.
Yeah, that's going to be some very good economy coming in from St. Peter's. As you mentioned, 4 ultimates on the board. Sellout squad about 2/3 the way towards their next. Quinnipiac doesn't have too much to respond. Those landmines coming in. The minefield, rather. Ratchet has that bomb that can instantly kill down Broccoli or Cookie if they're able to be caught out. A lot of options here, let alone Holstand going in for that nano.
So high noon as well. Ratchet fell in there. Grub taken out, so kind of some changes there until the res comes in. Cookie once again opting for like a hyper aggressive res. And Quinnipiac is about to lose this point number 2. They ain't got no main support. They won't once Broccoli is done for. There you go. That's going to be at least half, right? Yeah, at least half now. That's the second. Couple ultimates online. Scooty there, shattered down. Doesn't find a whole lot except for, what, a D-Mech and a ball right there. Allow for a little bit of space on res. Min tries to keep the dream alive. Not going to happen. Ricardo now joining the rest of their squad. St. Peter's University offensive push is done.
And Quinnipiac very fortunate to be able to get that, even that 1/3 saved. I think it's a little risky for Mayonnaise to be trying to take this duel with Ricardo, given this high ground possession, but Mayonnaise is going to try to contest that. Try to go up there and make that high ground theirs. A nice attempt, I think.
Yeah, lots of time right here, and now the kind of the pinch push coming in. Nachos and Ratchet going to be coming in from the side. Now they're taking extra points of damage as well, and the split push not panning out to the side of Quinnipiac. Ricardo once again turn on the attack visor. Just more methodical at that point. Now this team taking their time to take down Scooty. That's going to be it. St. Peter's University putting a solid foot forward on Hanamura.
Yeah, I have to unfortunately lament what I just said about that high ground being contested by the Soldier. It looked like Quinnipiac were initially trying to hold up there, but that Soldier a little too quick to hop off that high ground, not hold a little bit firmer against the opposition in St. Peter's. And with that tack visor rather coming in from Ricardo, there's just so little you can do unless everybody's behind that Rhine shield, as we saw.
Man, oh man, yeah. Mayonnaise, I think that might have been like a little bit of a split attention, like where exactly this was coming from as well, because if Mayonnaise was able to get behind the Rhine, drop healing, and then just kind of, you know what happens when you back a scared dog in a corner, they're going to bite, right? And like with a Reinhardt shield up, a Soldier on the other side, and eventually the healing up, and Scooty just would have ran out of shield and been able to swing away. Might have looked at this at least a little bit less time, and that's kind of the best situation that offense was looking for, or that defense was looking for at that point.
And now for Quinnipiac, they have to try to match this time. Just under 4 minutes is what St. Peter's achieved. Quinnipiac going to be looking to be at least comparable to that, of course. If they get anywhere near close, anywhere above 2 minutes, both those times will be brought until at least one is at that 2-minute mark. Make things a little bit shorter on all of us here. Save our voices a little bit, Tug, which I appreciate. But now as we look, St. Peter's going to be going for a dive composition, at least with their tank lineup. I look forward to seeing exactly how Nachos and Sellout execute.
Been looking at these two really as the pinnacle point for St. Peter's University, and we'll be looking at how this one goes in the next. That's a fantastic initial push. Nachos now knows the entire team comp, knows exactly where the squad is coming from. There's the teleporter booped away from it, nobody on it, and Grub and the rest of Quinnipiac will at least have to wait a few seconds if they're looking to take a teleporty on into this one. It's an expensive ticket, we'll call it so often. Back here, Nachos just once again providing a lot of annoyance in the back right now, installing this push in. There's the telly, there's one, Cookie all the way back, Grub falling there, and Cookie kind of left out by themselves. I've been that Lucy before, it doesn't feel good, Jerwald.
I'm sure it doesn't. Cookie gonna be feeling a lot worse after they meet head on with that in mind, but the difficulty here for Quinnipiac would be that they don't have really much to stifle Nachos when they go in for the pile driver. They're gonna rectify that by throwing Grub in on the Cassidy, but so far not finding too much benefit with it. But there, as soon as the swap comes through.
Finally, yeah, I was gonna say they finally utilized the only real stun that they had outside of ultimates for the side of Quinnipiac, and that's about as good as utilization as you get. That forces Min to make a decision on res, and that one's not gonna happen. Ricardo out here, Opting onto the Zarya for the time being. It's a lot of damage on that one. Now switches attention to the other tank. And there's not a whole lot that can happen right there. Excuse me. The Milky Way does fall there at the end. Res comes through. Yeah, and that's going to be not a whole lot of value.
Yeah, unfortunately, the late change from Grub is going to cost in that ultimate benefit. If you're looking at positives, you had a moment when Sellout Squad was out of mech. Not really going to be a huge factor now. Broccoli might be able to lay down that amplification matrix once that Wrecking Ball by Nachos has been dealt with, but Mayonnaise caught sleeping?
Yeah, so... so this Mercy up the top was able to damage boost on just like one quick little burst. And that's just standard Tracer tech right there. Ratchet knows it well. Back to the choke point down bottom. 110 seconds left on this one. Quinnipiac unfortunately not able to find a single tick so far. Grub getting attention. There it is. Standard flashbang shot to the head. Ratchet out of this one. And once again, Min not going to be able to. That's Ricardo. Min dusted from up top. Sellout Squad was not able to get to this one. Now taking out a mech. This is the offense rolling.
And I've said it before, Grub, one of the shining spots on this team, able to just deal so much on that Cowboy with so many of the different issues that this team is suffering. And now the Doomfist gets rolling. I like that.
Oh, so Mana is actually taken out by a mine at the back right now. St. Peter's not giving this one up. That did lose one of their main supports, but that should be enough for Ratchet. The double, and that's actually not to second tick quite yet, Sir Waltham. There it is! Stepping out for just a second. Quinnipiac still on top right here. Now back to it, the 1 versus 1! Scooty! Okay, no, excuse me. Got a little bit of, got some help from the D.Va right there. Thought we were gonna watch like an epic Soldier 76 and Reinhardt 1v1.
Amazingly, Quinnipiac just has that slip through their fingers like sand. A lot of it starts with Mayonnaise going down, not able to apply that immediate threat, jostle that Wrecking Ball and Reinhardt, or excuse me, and D.Va around like you'd want. Quinnipiac still going to be leaning in with Mayonnaise on this Grub, of course, still on that Casty, trying to get the benefit, and this Wrecking Ball just getting thrown everywhere.
He's got the uppercut to save the Wrecking Ball. That's amazing. That's amazing. Very, very, not often does something like that happen. Ricardo now, auto, out, Grab is there as well, charge coming in, takes down that, and so Sellout Squad can't use the defense matrix out. Quinnipiac, yeah, they need this tick, this first possession, like they need their next breath. Nachos, taken out, punched out, 3 minutes is the reward. Quinnipiac, again, earning this one all day long. And great job not dropping all of their ultimates. That can kind of be on the mind as an offending team is coming in.
Yeah, but perhaps if you're looking to take the most advantage, you dropped what might have been one of the most impactful ults, aside from maybe that amplification matrix in that Deadeye rather. And you'd really like to have that back, especially if you're able to get that upper ledge area zoned in by your McCree. Cassidy.
About 50% back to it. Grub on the Cassidy there, providing a lot of damage in close and far. And Mayonnaise with a big pick off the initial, but again, maybe Grub heard it. Got a big head and got aggressive with it. Not sure. Punches back. Tracer doing exactly what they need to. That's Ratchet. Now, Quinnipiac fighting this one just without a Cowboy on this one. Should be looking to get aggressive here soon. Ricardo out punches there. Nice job getting out in the way. The source of danger on this one. Out. There's the drop as well, and the grab does not land perfectly. Amplification matrix is out from Broccoli, but again, a team just doesn't really have a whole lot of opportunity on the other side. As I say that, Grub finding his D.Va out of mech and more. Scooty over. Scooty doesn't really have a whole lot of support right now. Milky Way has gotten exactly what they needed done, but while there's kind of like a split attention, St. Peter's University just kind of picks away at the middle line here, and not the back line, not really the front either, and gets exactly what they need done.
If you're Scooty, I can only imagine how tempting it was to hit that Earth Shatter on those 2 remaining members you saw. Yeah, you take them down immediately, rid Min of the option to bring Sellout Squad back into the game. But yeah, at least have some advantage here with no Ratchet in this fight. Nacho's also taking away.
Where's Min? So no res comes in. Min now on top of it should be able to get that. Yes, they do. Okay, so no, Ratchet actually just spawned normally. That's not sure if that. I mean, Quinnipiac on paper, this was like the time, this was like the go time, but as it is, every time Quinnipiac has kind of crossed this threshold outside of really the first time, they've just been stopped immediately in the back. Broccoli down, yeah, main tank, main support down, Scooty and Broccoli. Quinnipiac has one long team fight left of this, and they better come back at this one.
It's going to be expensive as Milky Way falls rather late into this, but we look at Ultimates Online. St. Peter's only going to be having that Nano, that Tac Visor, maybe that Valk as well when it comes online. And right now, I mean, Nacho's just buying so much time.
Yeah, no, really, exactly. And even with the speed boost, Quinnipiac has not shown that penchant for getting in here quick, so we're going to see at the res now. Rod Nachos on that Wrecking Ball will be able to get out quickly. Now turning attention up top. Ricardo taking the perfect off position as well. Now player down bottom, that's Milky Way there. We'll start taking progress down bottom. Mayonnaise comes jumping forward, and now the Shatter invested. That's only Ricardo taking in that one. A huge investment indeed, and everybody falling. Milky Way got there and was forced to wait for his teammates for the grab, excuse me. Broccoli dies with sound barrier. St. Peter's University continues their roll for a 3-0 sweep on Hanamura.
And St. Peter's, as you mentioned, that 3-0, gonna be pretty content with that one there. Map record will still go untarnished, but a player of note, definitely going to be Grub here for the side of Quinnipiac. I mean, we saw it on Eichenwald, we saw it on Hanamura, still just laying down a disproportionate amount of hurt for their team's overall performance.
Yeah, if this was, I'll go ahead and say it. Yeah, St. Peter's, full on, like, shout out to their 3-0 win. If this was an alternate Overwatch universe where it was just like determined by the DPS performance, Grub and Mayo, Quinnipiac, the scoreline is the other way 100%. We saw Mayo like flicking on this Hanzo like there's no tomorrow, finding picks left, right, and center. There's a lot to be said for St. Peter's being able to like keep the dream alive and still come forward and win team fights even though they're down a pick or two. But the way that Grub and Mayo were taking down flankers, initial picks on the back supports and everything else is just so impressive.
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree. And folks, we are going to be having a few words from one of the members from St. Peter's, but we are going to be taking a brief break, so make sure you stick around.
and welcome back. Before we get Sienna and Niagara going, we of course have to interview one of the winners from the winning squad here. We have Sellout here from St. Peter's University. Sellout, are you with us?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. My man Sir Walton's gonna start this one off, and then I'll ask you a couple questions, get you on out of here, okay?
Mhm.
All right, sellout. So to start, I want to talk about before this match even began. Me and Tugboat here were talking about kind of the score history between these two teams. Both had a bye week. Both had 2-0 records. Was there anything going through your mind or your team's mind about how competitive this was going to be between you two, or was this more so just a standard day at the office?
Oh, honestly, uh, I think I'll say it because Marist deserves the respect. They're a really good team. So we've been prepping for like a week plus maybe for them because like Marist is like one of those schools. Like they're a good school. When you see them on your match sheet, you have to worry about it.
Red Foxes
So,
bite hard, that's for sure.
Oh yes, for sure. And now we noticed a lot of that proficiency coming through from the Soldier 76. Just looking overall so dominant. Was that a strategy that's particularly practiced by you guys, or was that just something you guys felt worked and then you continued working it?
the first week we just threw out Soldier to see what happened, and it's been working really well. So we've been practicing around it a little bit, like trying to force off angles for him, trying to force like good positions for the Soldier. And now we have both our DPS playing it. Before it was just Ricky. Now we've forced Ratchet to play a little too.
All right, Tugboat, what do you got?
Yeah, no, so I just want to dive into that one a little bit more. Are there any like specific roles, any specific heroes that you guys have really kind of tried out and found a lot of success with, or tried out and think, that's not really something that we want to try and work on?
I'm not gonna give all of our secret heroes out. We got some picks left for big competitions, but a lot of picks that have been working for us. Winston a lot of Ball, definitely Farah and what's it called, Soldier have been working a lot for us recently. And we got some pocket picks though. Hopefully we can whip them out soon.
There you go. No surprises with the supports. We are left out in the lurch once again,
Mhm.
people. Once again, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Don't worry. Wait for the support to roll soft tank, bro. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, hey, there it is.
Min's
There it
playing
is.
tank next week.
Oh, you heard it here first. Sellout. I want to thank you for coming on in. Give us a minute of your time after the game. Do you have any shout-outs, Sellout?
Shout outs. Shout out 20DX. Shout out Goonman. Shout out Dark Ricky.
There you go. You heard it here. Appreciate you for coming on and give us a minute of your time after the game. We got a lot more Overwatch action here on the docket. Niagara and... Oh, man. I just had it. Niagara and Sienna College coming up next. Thank you, producer. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute.
Am I good?